Erik Karlsson of the Pittsburgh Penguins threw some shade yesterday at former head coach Mike Sullivan, who's now with the New York Rangers. Karlsson saying, "We have good individual players, and now we're finally starting to feel good as a team. The roles are starting to slot in. You know what's expected of you. You do the things you're good at, and not the things someone tells you to do that you can't do." Not hard to read between the lines with that one. Karlsson throwing shade at somebody, presumably Mike Sullivan, who's now at the New York Rangers. And you look back on Pittsburgh for the last couple of years since they acquired Erik Karlsson, and this doesn't just apply to him, but really everybody in that lineup. Pittsburgh always felt like they played down to their opponents, and they always played well below their expected scores. Now, if you look over at the Rangers, they're also doing the same thing, which is kind of interesting because now Mike Sullivan's coaching the New York Rangers. Go look at their problems. I'll make another video on that. Look, here's the thing with Pittsburgh. They got Dan Muse behind the bench now. They look like a completely different team. And I don't think it's just Dan Muse replacing Mike Sullivan. I do think there's a lot there with some young guys coming up. You get this youthful energy that comes into your lineup. But you look at Erik Karlsson, he's got 12 points in 16 games to start the year. He was in the 55-point range the last couple of years, but defensively, he just looked like a different player. He's much more engaged in the game. He's not making the silly mistakes. Touch wood. Hopefully, he doesn't start that now. But he's kind of cleaned up a lot of the defensive lapses that you would see the last 2 years in Pittsburgh. So Karlsson just looks like a different player, much more involved defensively. There's a play yesterday where New Jersey's trying to break out of the defensive zone. Karlsson kind of gets caught on a pinch, but manages to make a great defensive recovery, gets the puck back, well done. That would have been a play that maybe last year he doesn't quite figure out. So it's good to see for him. For the Penguins, it's great news if Karlsson can continue to be a factor throughout this season. It's one of the things that might get them into the playoffs. Comment below, what do you think? Is Erik Karlsson throwing shade at Mike Sullivan?